Hello, YouTube. It is Friday. So I survived the week. It was my first short week, working 6 hours a day. But I've been like oversleeping, averaging about 14 to 16 hours a day of sleep. Yeah. So I'm going to try to start changing that this weekend. So I may actually try to do some physical activity. Maybe make myself go to the beach for a walk on the beach. Hopefully I can make it and not collapse out there on the beach. But yeah, it's weird. It's like I've been asking people about COVID because I'm trying to figure out if this is related to COVID or what's going on with me right now. I may end up, if I don't feel better soon, contacting the VA to have them x-ray my chest to see what's going on there, because I feel like I have something in it. As far as my other situation, which is like trying to start up some side businesses and stuff, I got contacted. I got a PayPal donation from Jonathan Smith. Thank you, Jonathan, who donated some money to encourage me to keep working on Eye of Kaborie, which is a video game that it's like 25, 30-year-old game that is in progress, but had been like on indefinite hold for like more than a decade, almost 2 decades. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about, my plans for retirement. I was like, maybe I need to get back into software development, try to figure out a way where I can monetize my software so I can make money while traveling and stuff. So, Jonathan, thank you for putting a little bird in my ear again about Eye of Kaborie. It is an ongoing project, and with me getting COVID, it's kind of reminded me how mortal we all are, and we really should kind of finish projects that are important to us. And Eye of Kaborie is one of those projects that's kind of important for me. I want to leave something. I think I've left several things, but I want to leave this. This is my great novel. See, Eye of Kaborie. And I had dug up like old versions of the software that I had found, but they're like missing pieces, partially running. But what I will do is probably make a video just to share with you guys here on YouTube. And I'm debating if I want to set up a Patreon or a Kickstarter or some other, or just set my own and not do Patreon or Kickstart, but just set up my own PayPal page for people who want to contribute to that project. But essentially, Eye of Kaborie is the follow-up to Legend of the Silver Talisman. It's actually before Legend of the Silver Talisman, but it takes place before that, I think. Yeah, I'm confused on the history. I'll have to research. This whole COVID thing's making my brain not so clear. But basically, it's a role-playing game, and what was unique about it at the time, and I still haven't seen it done, was that it was going to allow. I was doing a contest from Legend of the Silver Talisman to try to get people to enter for Eye of Kaborie, but they were going to be allowed to be entered into the game and be immortalized as a video game character, like an NPC. So I think I'm going to go ahead and proceed with that. I still haven't seen any games that do that with real people, so we're going to do that without the contest. I think what I'm going to do is maybe set up either the Patreon or something similar. Maybe not Patreon. Patreon would be cool because it gives you consistent income, semi-consistent income, because it's kind of like subscription-based. But I'm debating if I want to go that route. Maybe I will put it up to you guys, those of you who are into video games and stuff. Would you be game to being a patron, and helping me to produce the game and further games, maybe sequels and prequels? There were several games that came before that. Or would you rather do like a one-time payment and then, it's done? Old school was you did like a one-time payment But the new model is that, people keep paying months after months, years after year. They keep, you pay to win, basically. You pay and you get content. You get like better weapons, upgrades, or superficial stuff that are like skins and stuff to make things look cool. Old school, it was like the mindset of where you pay for the game, and then you can play it as much as you want. You don't have to keep paying, which is what I'm sort of leaning towards. But the way people do stuff now is pay to keep playing. The other thing they do, if they don't want to pay to keep playing, is they run ads in them. But then that requires you to develop with the new platforms, for the new computers and the internet and browsers and stuff like that, which means having to learn new stuff. So I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm old school, and I know they say you're never too old to learn, but I'm 56, and I don't want to spend a year or two trying to learn new stuff, because I might only have a year or two to write the old stuff, get it out. So after assessing the situation and trying to come up with an idea to make sure I can actually finish the project, what I've decided for now, unless you guys change my mind, is to go ahead and write it under DOS. Yeah. It seems like really backwards, but the reason for doing it is we know that, at least as of 2022, they've made, the technology to back up DOS games so they can sit in an archive and be used forever unless the archive goes away. Whereas I still haven't seen Windows stuff, like Windows 95 or whatever, Windows 98, Windows 2000, whatever, stuff made so that it can last forever. And not only that, DOS-based games are able to be played in browser. And the reason that's significant is it would allow me to develop just under DOS, not worry about what machine you're going to play it on, whether it's an Android or an iPhone or a Linux machine or a Windows computer or whatever. It doesn't matter. It'll be played in browser. And even though it would be developed under DOS, I would develop it as a new game with new interface, user interface. So instead of, although I might have it so I can use keyboard input. So if you have a keyboard, you can play off the keyboard old school style. But make the game so it can be played using touch, Now DOS, they didn't have like full touch screen, but they had like mouse clicks. So I can kind of simulate partially. So maybe I will make it so that you can control it by touching the screen. That way, if you're playing on a phone or a touch tablet, it'll work. And if you're playing on the computer, you can use a keyboard or you can use a mouse to click, on the screen. So the interface will be designed as a modern GUI. The game itself will probably be written with DOS under Turbo. I'm thinking I'm going to do it under Turbo C, maybe Turbo Pascal. I have to dig up the old source code and see. The main thing I need to be able to do, though, and this is the hard part for me right now, but it's doable because they did it with Legend of the Silver Talisman. I need to figure out how to compile my game so that it'll run in a DOS box browser, like JavaScript, basically. I think it's called like DOS, EM-DOS, Inscriptum or something like that, the name of it. So I need to learn how that works and then try to get a prototype where I can compile a game or compile a program and make it run in browser. Once I get that initial first step going, then I can actually fully start developing the game. And, my ideal game is multiplayer. The problem with multiplayer is I don't have the skills to program multiplayer. So maybe eventually, if the game is successful, I can raise, funds to get a real team and hire people to do the multiplayer aspect and make it the real world, the multiplayer version. But the initial version is actually a story, so it might be good to play the solo single-player version. And, if that's popular and we raise enough funds, we can develop the multiplayer online community, which would be my dream, But the game will be written under DOS, and also to keep it simple, I'm probably going to end up doing tile-based. And the reason for that is I may actually pull, I'm debating if I want to pull like, public domain images similar to Ultima that people have done tile sets. That way all the graphics are done already, so I don't have to spend time doing the graphics. I mean, I could try to put together a whole team again with somebody doing the graphics, somebody doing all the maps and all that. The problem with the team is that there's issues, because sometimes your team member, they decide they don't want to work on it anymore. And you got to train them. You got to teach them how to do all this stuff, but then they're not available, or they do stuff that's not really compatible unless you fully train them. It takes time, and if somebody bails on the project, you could get stagnated. That's why Legend of the Silver Talisman took like 6 years to release, instead of the alpha and the beta were done in 3 months. The game could have been released in 6 months, and it probably would have done better. But it sat for like almost 6 years because it was on, we had issues with graphics and other stuff. So I'm thinking of just making this a solo project. So it would be dependent upon me and only me to get it out. That way I can control and make it come out. I can make it come out. And the plan would be to have the solo version probably fully, pretty much done within 1 year. Encapsulated to run in browser and everything. And then if people like it, we could do the prequels, the games that come before that. Or maybe we do the prequel first. The prequels are actually smaller games, like The Lost Sword of Yanada, and then The Lost Dungeons of Yanada. So if I do those, if you guys think it would be better to do prequels first, the prequels I could possibly do within a 2 or 3 month period to write the game and have it out. And some of you are like, well, why don't you do the big game? The prequels would allow me to test the technology to make sure that I can write the game and get it to compile in, to run on DOSBox in browser under, like JavaScript. The other option is to write everything in JavaScript and avoid DOSBox. But I think it's better to go DOSBox and make it work as a DOS game, standalone DOS. So somebody who actually wants to run a DOS computer could play it on a DOS computer, with Sound Blaster and stuff like that. And new modern browsers, including phones and tablets, can run it with emulation. And I don't even have to distribute it. I just post a link online and people can just click on it, download it to the browser and play it. Could also make the link so if people want to own it, they can download it and store it on their computer and play it on a DOS machine. Let me know your thoughts, because I'm really giving serious thoughts to doing this and starting out my own software development again. I'll revive Interactive Arts. Also, some of you may not be aware, there was a sister company to Interactive Arts. I'm going to tell you right now. It's actually called VSP Interactive. If you look up VSP Interactive, we make a product called VSP Poker. And if you email me about that, what I will do, I will give you a free copy of the original VSP Poker. It is for grown-ups only. So, not a game for everybody, but it is poker. And it was actually a pretty successful product in its day. It's over 20 years old. I have a new version that was released about 10 years ago. But the original version, which uses stop-motion animation, it's like more than 20 years old, and I've donated it kind of into the public domain. So if you're interested in that, email me Denoy.DeBoer, DENOY.DEBOER @gmail.com, and ask for VSP Poker as a gift. And I will send you a responsive email with the link where you can download the game. The game does require you to run under Windows. I think it'll even run under Windows 10. But it was designed for like Windows 95, so you should run on Windows 95 on up. You may have to set your, I think it's called UAC, it's like account controls. Was it Windows UAC? I don't know. But it stands for like setting your computer so that the game can run in administration mode. You know, like as an administrator, giving it administrator access. It requires it to run. So turn off UAC, run the game in administrator mode or whatever, and it should run under Windows. It's not a DOS game, it's a Windows game. So if you want to play poker, virtual is actually virtual strip poker. So if you want to play that, my old game, you can do that. If you like that game, you want to play the newer version with full motion video, that is still for sale. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep it up for sale, but for now it's still up. And then I'm going to actually start coding and trying to figure out the technology that I'm going to need to make Eye of Kaborie a reality. So let me know your thoughts. Okay, I know there was a lot to process, but basically, let me know if you want me to just jump into Eye of Kaborie, which is in-depth and really long and complicated, or start off with the baby projects and do the Lost Sword of Yanada, and then the Lost Dungeon of Yanada, and then Eye of Kaborie. And if you guys are interested in that, let me know. And if you think I should set up either a GoFundMe, a Patreon, or just set up my own donations through Interactive Arts. I'm leaning more towards just going through Interactive Arts. That way, people can just pay me once, and then that's it. And then if I decide to set up a server, then maybe we set up a Patreon or something so that it can maintain the server. Or, I don't know if PayPal allows, like I think they might allow recurring billing. That way, there's money to run the server. I might even hire some people to run the server and stuff, because I'm planning on traveling, the world. So the game should be up and running and available for people to play it. Let me know. Until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. And if you're recovering from COVID like I am, make sure you get plenty of rest. Until next time, everyone, take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye now.